There are places on Earth that seem to defy logic, where reality bends, science falters, and the impossible becomes routine. Skinwalker Ranch is one of those places. For decades, this remote stretch of land in Utah has been the epicenter of some of the most baffling and terrifying phenomena ever recorded. Mutilated animals drained of blood without a trace, UFOs that appear and vanish without explanation, fields of energy that cripple electronics, and events that seem to mock our understanding of physics itself. Governments have tried to uncover the truth and failed. Now a new generation of scientists and investigators is pushing deeper than anyone before, and what they are finding suggests that the secrets of this place might rewrite everything we think we know about reality. The story begins with a stubborn mystery beneath the ground. Deep inside the mesa that dominates the ranch, ground-penetrating radar detected something massive, a dome-shaped structure surrounded by smaller anomalies buried under hundreds of feet of sandstone. For months, the team attempted to drill boreholes into the mesa to access and study whatever lay beneath. But nothing about the process was normal. Drill rods inexplicably broke apart. Equipment that had functioned flawlessly elsewhere repeatedly failed. It was as if something below the surface did not want to be disturbed, as if the mesa itself was alive and resisting intrusion. Still, the team pressed on, determined to punch through the barrier and reveal what was hiding within. Yet even as they drilled, stranger things began to unfold above ground. A large-scale experiment was planned. LiDAR scanners on the ground, on drones, in trucks, and even mounted on a helicopter would sweep the ranch from ground level to several thousand feet up. Rockets would be launched into the sky to trigger responses. Cameras equipped with thermal infrared and night vision lenses would capture anything invisible to the naked eye. The goal was simple yet audacious: stimulate the phenomenon and catch it in the act, and that is exactly what happened. The first signs came almost immediately. As a rocket arced skyward from the east field, Cameron Fugel piloted a helicopter 1,000 feet above the ranch, tracking the LiDAR truck below. Yet something was wrong. According to Cameron, the truck was directly beneath him, but observers on the ground could clearly see that he was far behind it. Perception and reality diverged. Space itself seemed distorted. Moments later, another rocket launch vanished from Cameron's view completely, despite clear skies and an unobstructed line of sight. A similar disappearance had been recorded in a previous experiment when a rocket simply blinked out of existence mid-flight. Things grew stranger still. LiDAR data revealed a towering vertical spire of unknown composition, rising more than 300 feet into the air above the east field, precisely in an area where drones had repeatedly lost their GPS signal, as if passing through an Eddie-O invisible wall. The data hinted at something structured, persistent, and entirely unknown. Meanwhile, a hot air balloon burner was directed at a zone 31 feet above the triangle, where a mysterious blob had once destroyed a rocket. As flames blasted upward, thermal cameras recorded fog-like shapes, ring patterns, and distortions wrapping around something invisible. And then high above, Cameron reported seeing multiple small objects whizzing past the helicopter objects that none of the instruments could detect. They were simply there, defying explanation. At 5,000 feet above the ground, radio communication suddenly filled with static. Energy spikes had been recorded at that exact altitude before, and strange objects often appeared there. As the burner continued to roar, a shadow-like mass seemed to drift across the mesa on thermal imaging, and the flames appeared to bend and wrap around something unseen. The implication was chilling. There was something tangible in the air, something the instruments could not fully perceive, but which still interacted with physical reality. Then came a moment that investigators had waited months for. The drill finally broke through the mesa. After endless delays, broken equipment, and mysterious setbacks, they had created a borehole over 600 feet deep that would allow them to probe the anomaly directly. It was a triumph, but one that only deepened the mystery, because whatever was inside the mesa, it was still there, silent and hidden, waiting. Days later, the team gathered to analyze the mountain of data they had collected. What they found was more than just anomalies. It was evidence of something that should not exist. LiDAR systems had recorded a colossal cone-shaped structure extending nearly 2,000 feet above the triangle. A laser beam fired vertically into the sky stopped abruptly at the same altitude, as if striking a solid barrier that no one could see. Could this be a force field, an energy dome, or something even more exotic? Whatever it was real, repeatable, and measurable. GPS data painted an equally unsettling picture. Drones flying a route known as the In-and-Out Path, where a UAP had once flown straight through the mesa, lost their signals at the same points again and again. Over 40 flights confirmed the phenomenon. The data gaps aligned perfectly with the location of the vertical spire, suggesting that something was interfering with navigation systems. Even more astonishing, LiDAR returned data from beneath the ground, an impossibility since infrared light cannot penetrate solid rock. These subterranean echoes paired with ring-shaped anomalies in the sky match theoretical models of traversable wormholes. Could it be that Skinwalker Ranch was home to a gateway in space-time? Had the team stumbled upon evidence of an interdimensional passage, the implications were staggering. A wormhole could explain why UAPs seem to pass through solid rock. It could explain the GPS voids, the time anomalies, and the sudden disappearances. It might even explain how rockets vanished mid-flight or why a laser beam stopped dead in mid-air. The team had measured a quarter-second time discrepancy above the triangle in a previous experiment. An eternity in physics. Something here was warping the fabric of reality itself. As they dug deeper into the data, the evidence only grew more bizarre. Cameras mounted on the helicopter captured a strange light in Dry Gold's Creek, a site associated with previous anomalies, including dead zones and equipment, scorched vegetation, and the carcass of a creature with massive fangs, possibly a young direwolf. A rocket launched to probe a 1.6 gigahertz signal from Homestead. Two froze mid-air before turning white, a sign of microwave radiation exposure. Could whatever was inside the mesa be the source of all these phenomena? Could it be influencing the entire ranch from deep underground? The borehole was only the beginning. The plan was to widen it to 1.5 feet in diameter to allow advanced instruments, ground-penetrating radar, tomography sensors, radiation detectors to descend into the anomaly itself. But even without direct access, the sheer volume of data collected was overwhelming. Terabytes of information from rockets, drones, LiDAR, and sensors painted a picture of a place where the laws of physics seemed to break down. Flight paths deviated wildly from expectations. Equipment failed without reason. GPS data disappeared. Radio signals fluctuated unpredictably. Rockets vanished, then reappeared. Drones fell from the sky. Time itself appeared to hiccup. And through it all, mysterious objects, sometimes luminous, sometimes dark, moved in ways that defied explanation. What could possibly account for all of this? Some believe the phenomena were natural, the result of geological or atmospheric conditions we do not yet understand. Others suspected something more deliberate, an intelligence, perhaps extraterrestrial, manipulating the environment. Theories abounded in ancient technology buried beneath the mesa, a hidden portal used by unknown entities, even the remnants of a crashed object still active and influencing its surroundings. Whatever the explanation, one thing was clear. Skinwalker Ranch was not just a place of strange sightings and spooky stories. It was a complex, dynamic system that seemed to interact with those who studied it. Artificial intelligence was brought in to help make sense of the chaos. The Athena platform was tasked with sifting through the terabytes of data to find patterns no human could detect. And patterns did emerge, patterns in the timing of anomalies and their location and their response to stimuli. The ranch seemed to react to experiments as if aware of them adapting and shifting in ways that made no logical sense. It was almost as if it was alive. And perhaps, in a way, it is. Skinwalker Ranch has always existed at the intersection of science and myth, where folklore speaks of portals to other worlds, and modern instruments detect anomalies that science cannot explain. The new data suggests that these stories might not be so far-fetched after all. Something is here, something vast, powerful, and incomprehensible. It bends light and space. It distorts time. It interferes with technology. It reveals itself only in fleeting glimpses, as if taunting those who try to understand it, and it may be far older than anyone imagines. As the investigation moves forward, the team faces a daunting challenge. The mysteries of Skinwalker Ranch are deeper than ever, but for the first time, they are beginning to see the outlines of an answer. It may take years, perhaps decades, to fully understand what is happening here. It may require new physics, new technology, even new ways of thinking. But one thing is certain, this is no ordinary place. It is a window into something larger, something beyond our current comprehension. And whatever lies at its heart, buried beneath the mesa, hidden in the sky, or woven into the fabric of space itself, could change everything we know about our universe. The question is no longer whether the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch are real. The data proves that they are. The question now is what they mean. Are we witnessing the remnants of ancient technology, the work of an intelligence beyond Earth, or a natural phenomenon so advanced? It appears intelligent. The answers remain elusive, but each experiment, each anomaly, and each piece of data brings us closer. For now, the ranch keeps its secrets. But the veil is thinning, and behind it, something extraordinary is waiting to be discovered.